Hello, Enfield. My name is Chris Rutledge, and I'm with the Enfield RTC. And before we go any further, please remember to click the subscribe and notification icons below. That way you'll be notified of any new videos that come up on our YouTube channel. In today's edition of Chairman's Chat, we are here with State Representative Mike Franz. How are you today?
Excellent. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you. So now, what district do you represent?
I represent the 42nd District, which is Ledyard, Preston, and Montville.
Okay, and you're also chairman of the Conservative Caucus, is it?
That's correct. The Conservative Caucus was formed 2 years ago, and each legislative session we have an organizational meeting like many organizations, and the caucus decided to elect me as the chair for this 2-year term.
What things do you do in that caucus? How do you relate to the legislature at large?
Well, the purpose of the caucus is really to bring forward the ideas and concepts of limited government, freedom, and to have those principles be brought forward. And how we started this legislative session was to look at what our goals were, learning from the first 2 years that we were in existence. And the principal thing that we want to do is expand our reach beyond the four walls of the Capitol. And how we did that was to engage and look for like-minded groups and build a relationship with them, and then also to engage via social media to expand our presence there.
Now, in terms of engaging with other groups, there's been a lot of talk this year about tolls, and there's a Mr. Sasser who was chairman of the No Tolls Connecticut. Did you have any interfacing or relationship with that group?
We did have, but not directly in the sense of a formal arrangement. We did interface with that. Ann Dauphiné and I, another member of our caucus, met with Jenna Zell early on in December, actually before session started, about her vision of the 100 Women Strong, and then she became essentially partnered with Pat Sasser on the No Tolls CT movement, and so we built a relationship there through Jenna Zell.
Okay, and now I've also heard a little bit that there might be a special session being called in the legislature this year?
That's correct. And if you go read the language, it looks innocuous, and I had a conversation with a lobbyist in the last few days, and we're looking at the special session only dealing with school construction and bonding. And they said, well, that's innocuous. And so the challenge is if you go read the resolution, and I would encourage everybody to do that, yes, school construction is limited. However, under the bonding, it also has language that says, and any, basically a paraphrase, any program that deals with bonding. So, for instance, if you have a project that is bonded, may it be the Connecticut Infrastructure Bank, or the Excel Center, or any other thing that interfaces with bonding, that legislation could go there. And the principal thing being tolls. The initial process in the first 2 years would be a bonded effort to study and to go look at implementation of tolls because, as was been pointed out many, many times, the governor has no plan for how he's going to spend that money. So that's a danger in how the special session language was created, because bonding does not just include the bonding bill, but any program that deals with interfaces with bonding.
So I guess that's how they're getting tolls into this special session, and they're going to call it part of bonding?
That's the potential. I believe that there's still not the votes, and that's why people need to stay vigilant and not let their guard down. And I know that the No Tolls CT movement has moved from kind of a legislative focus to moving to towns and knocking doors and moving door to door, which is a great strategy. So we cannot lose sight of the fact that anything that interfaces with bonding, and tolls would be one of those things, could come up in a special session, and we need to maintain our vigilance on all those issues.
And so, talking one last question about tolls here. So as the chairman of the Conservative Caucus, how are you going to, for lack of a better term, rally the troops to try and put a stop to this? Because everybody I talk to seems to be against tolls. There are just too many issues, and they're just another tax on us. What are you folks going to do, or try to do, rather?
Well, the biggest benefit that we have as a Conservative Caucus, and in support and context with the larger House Republican Caucus in the House, is the ability to make argument and to occupy time. In the special session, there's less opportunity for that. Essentially, if something comes up, they have the votes. It is difficult to use time as our lever because there really is no end. The special session will go on until people stop talking. So if we come in at 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a particular day, whenever we get done talking is when the session ends. So as long as the Democrats who bring out a particular proposal are willing to sit there and listen to our debate, it will get passed. The key is that it needs to not come up, and that is where movements like No Tolls CT in the case of tolls are beneficial. Certainly the argument that Conservative Caucus would start from, many of the arguments that No Toll CT has made, is that it is just another tax on residents of the state of Connecticut on top of one of the highest gas taxes in the country. But beyond that, if you are in project management of any kind, you are an engineer, architect, of any professional, if you came to your boss and said, give me a bunch of money, I promise I'll spend it right, your boss would throw you out of the office. Now, if you came to a customer as an electrician or a carpenter or a construction manager and said, I'm going to do some work for you. I'm not going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do, but it's going to cost you this amount. Pay me first, and then I'll tell you what's going to happen. That's effectively what Governor Lamont has done. Governor Malloy put out his $100 billion, what I call a pipe dream. It was not realistic. Governor Lamont never endorsed that, and all he is really focused on is the time of public transport between New York and Hartford and 30-30-30 myth that he's perpetrated, but there is no plan. And before you ask the taxpayer of the state of Connecticut, the residents of the state of Connecticut, to give you more money, you ought to be professional enough to give the plan of what you need the money for.
Well, Representative France and Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for your time today and thank you for fighting against tolls and to help put Connecticut back on the right track. I know a lot of us appreciate the work that you're doing.
My pleasure. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, and thank you for watching Enfield. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.